Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and tax season for crypto and everything else is upon us. Wanted to check in with iTrustCapital. I opened 2 iTrustCapital accounts. It's in the description of this video, a link. You got to do it. They're one of my sponsors, but I'm also a 2-time customer. I have a Roth IRA. That's my favorite. But anyway, listen to this because you need to be thinking about these things.
Hey iTrust community, as we kick off everyone's favorite season, we thought we should offer some quick tips. Now we aren't talking about spring, we're talking about tax season. iTrustCapital provides an IRA software platform for investing in crypto through your retirement account. But how do these types of accounts factor into your yearly taxes? After all, we thought it was tax-free. Well, for clients with traditional IRAs who are not taking distributions, we have good news. iTrustCapital works with third-party IRA custodians who handle the tax forms required for traditional IRA accounts unless you are taking distributions, which means a traditional IRA is tax-free. You're not required to complete tax forms for your traditional IRA unless you're taking distributions. If you have begun taking distributions, we recommend consulting with a tax professional to make sure you complete all the necessary steps for filing this year. Remember, iTrustCapital does not provide legal, investment, or tax advice. Roth IRAs are different from traditional IRAs. You may not need to pay taxes, but you may need to fill out a few forms. If you converted an account into a Roth, you may fall into this category. These forms may include a Form 1099-R, Form 1040 or 1040A, and Form 8606, among others. We recommend consulting with a tax professional for more details on what you'll need and to ensure you complete all your requirements. For more information and guidance from the IRS, go to www.
All right, and they said to consult with a tax professional. Now, if you want a crypto tax professional, the guy's name is Clinton Donnelly, and he's got his website is cryptotaxaudit.com. I'm going to put this at the top of the description, but this guy can help you prepare taxes. He can consult with you. He's also got the his memberships if you're worried about having audit protection. He's got an early warning coverage, and he's also got audit defense, and you can see here what those things are. So you need to be thinking about these things because you've got to always be concerned about all this stuff now. Okay, Brad Garlinghouse tweeted out about the Biden executive order. Like many of you, I thought Biden administration's executive order would acknowledge crypto but not detail specifics on next steps for regulation. However, I was pleasantly surprised. That's how I was too. Inspired by executive order acknowledging the need for evolution and alignment of the government's approach to crypto. First and foremost, this is an affirmation that crypto is here to stay. Thoughtful policy involves timely input from players, and there's a lot across the federal government. I don't want to mistake activity for progress, but this does feel like it could be a turning point. I like that. The White House finally says that we in the industry have been saying for years, if the U.S. wants to maintain its status as a responsible tech leader, it needs to provide a clear regulatory framework for an industry that's exploding in growth. 40 million Americans and counting, years of damage done by the SEC's siloed regulation by enforcement approach can be undone through collaboration between all agencies. Ripple stands ready to educate and assist. If we are to catch up with the rest of the world, we need prompt and decisive action ASAP. Well, I corrected his last part here with this. Years of intentional damage done by the SEC's siloed regulation in favor of Bitcoin and Ethereum intentionally. And again, I repeat, all of you supposed crypto industry organizations, Blockchain Association, the Chamber of Digital Commerce, you all ought to be ashamed of yourselves because you have not publicly done anything to help Ripple in this cause or John Deaton in this cause. And we will continue to point that out because it's shameful. We got this executive order. Make no mistake, I said it in the last video. Make no mistake, folks. This is because of what the XRP, Army, community, whatever you want to call it, did for the last year when nobody helped us. Nobody was helping us to blow this horn. And only because of that, these people are backing off of the hardcore stance. Make no mistake. The freaking plan was to let Bitcoin and Ethereum be the crypto industry. And it wasn't until we showed up to put the truth out there and show it in their own arrogant words and show the timeline, show what had gone on. It wasn't until we did that this action was taken to keep themselves from being voted out of office. Don't forget that, folks. Susan Friedman, excited to see the Biden admin's long-awaited executive order understatement emphasizing interagency coordination and work on crypto. What shouldn't fall by the wayside, existing legislative proposals that have already thoroughly researched this tech with actual policy recommendations. Studies and reports alone without action do not necessarily equal progress. Several bills have been introduced in Congress that, if passed, could be vital for providing regulatory clarity through federal oversight and exchanges or clarifying SEC and CFTC jurisdiction. It's been great to see growing bipartisan interest in this industry, but we need to move faster for the U.S. to take advantage of the innovation and opportunity at hand. Just look at the EU. MiCA could soon be passed. This year, the U.S. should not lose momentum on these issues. Keep the political pressure going, folks. Senator Cynthia Lummis had a statement on the executive order. It's great to see. So overall, the gist of it is, folks, I think everybody like myself, I think John Deaton was the same way. I think we were braced for impact because this administration, and remember, Joe Biden is the one that hired Gary Gensler, and Gary Gensler has done nothing but go after crypto, except for Ethereum and Bitcoin, that is. So make no mistake, I believe that the plan was firmly to go after everything that wasn't Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it wasn't until we stood up and said enough and started doing our own research and showing what was going on to the world that they backed off of this. Now, this is Cynthia Lummis. It's been a long time coming, but my bill to fully integrate digital assets into our financial system is almost ready. I'm putting the final touches on it with some key advocates and partners in the Senate. But watch out for the unveiling soon. Excuse me. Charles Gasparino comes out and he says, scoop via Eleanor Terrett. Congressional sources say Senator Rick Scott is planning to meet with Gary Gensler tomorrow, which is today, on issues involving risks to American investors posed by China. He already knows the risks. This guy was in Digital Currency Wars, the video where they simulated digital currency wars back in 2019 at Harvard. Gary Gensler was one of the participants. He's well aware of the threat of China. So you have to ask yourself why he's been going after Ripple. That's the question. Okay, and next, Eleanor Terrett had tweeted out, we will have BlackRock CEO Larry Fink on Fox Business today at 3:30 with Liz Clayman and Charles Gasparino talking Russia, China, ESG, inflation, and more. And I told her with a screenshot here, remember Robbie Mitchnick? I said, ask him about Robbie Mitchnick, formerly of Ripple, how he's doing as head of DLT and digital assets. We need an update. And I copied them all in on it. Now, speaking of BlackRock, okay, this was breaking from Blockworks. I love showing you what's really going on, folks. Breaking. Second largest custodian bank in the world, State Street, to offer crypto custodial services for institutions by year end. State Street. Now, remember, folks, State Street and State Street, Northern Trust, BNY Mellon, those are three of the largest custodians. And what that is, for those of you that don't know, if you buy a stock on E-Trade or Charles Schwab, you don't ever worry about where that stock certificate is, but there is a stock certificate that represents your ownership in that stock that you bought. Well, for, 100 years, I guess. State Street, Northern Trust, BNY Mellon, JP Morgan, companies like this have been the custodian. They're the ones that it's their job to take care of those stock certificates and store them and make sure they're protected. That's what they've been setting up for digital assets, and State Street is one of the largest, okay? This is a statement from back around, it was before 2021. This is the guy that runs State Street's head of digital assets. Listen to this. Let me hit the refresh on this. Many of you have not heard this.
Intellectual properties, paintings, other things like CryptoKitties, right? People have heard of CryptoKitties. So we're seeing assets start to become digitized, trickle, and then we believe there'll be a flood. When that happens, I would look at a historic precedent. If you think about 30 years ago when assets moved from materialization to dematerialization, where we moved from coupon clipping to stock certificates to electronification. We believe the same thing will happen with digital assets.
All right. So who owns State Street? I love going through this exercise. Top 10 owners of State Street, the Vanguard Group, Dodge & Cox, T. Rowe Price, SGA Funds, which actually is State Street. So it's one of their divisions that owns itself. And then, of course, there's BlackRock and JP Morgan. Well, Vanguard is the number one shareholder in State Street. Who owns Vanguard? BlackRock. You see how this works? All right, moving along. This is Fred Wilson from Union Square Ventures. By the way, Fred Wilson is one of the people who is on the list as people that communicated with Bill Hinman around the time of the Ethereum free pass speech. His firm, Union Square Ventures, was also in the venture capital working group, which did work only, from what I can tell, to have the safe harbor memo created, which became the Bill Hinman speech, which only mentioned Ethereum in 2018 and got Bitcoin and Ethereum a free pass. Here is Fred Wilson.
Had the Silk Road, which was an illegal drug market being run on Bitcoin effectively. And then we have the ICO market come along, and we have very valid projects like the Ethereum project, which really kind of invented ICOs, raising the initial capital to seed what has become a very important piece of technology.
Right. So Ethereum pretty much invented ICOs. It was an ICO, but it was completely ignored. It was also completely ignored as the root of the ICO problem. And now Gary Gensler's talking about, the SEC's talking about going after NFTs, which would mean that they also let the NFTs go. We've watched for the last year or two, just about all of them were built on the root of the problem, Ethereum. And now they're going to go after them. What sense does that make? What sense does that make? None. Now, John Deaton is laying down some facts here. He was on Thinking Crypto, and I wanted to show you this clip right here. Sometimes John's on his game. This is one of those times.
Jay Clayton from Sullivan Cromwell. Sullivan Cromwell represents Joe Lubin and Consensus. And is there this communication of, take this meeting. So now you have Sullivan and Cromwell lawyers, and that's Jay Clayton's firm, his client, one of his firm's clients, are vested in Consensus and Ethereum. And we have Hinman vested with the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. Okay, that's not small conflicts. Right. When the Ethereum investors help write your speech that gives a free pass to Ethereum, and then you leave the SEC and you become a partner with them, that's not a small thing. Yeah. That's not something that you just trivialize, that you minimize, that you dismiss, say, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. Bullshit. It's not, man. That looks awful. And look.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. That's good stuff from John Deaton. I want to show you a couple more things. Just in, Crypto.com reportedly informed customers in the U.S., UK, California, 38 other countries that they have until March 15th to repay their loans. That sounds like maybe somebody's coming after Crypto.com for lending products. I'm still looking for the SEC to go after an Ethereum-based lending product. And then there's this article, why no one from Ripple to Russia has been able to topple the SWIFT monopoly. Well, I can tell you why Ripple has not toppled the SWIFT monopoly. I think that it's two words. Regulatory capture. I think they were intentionally attacked by the SEC as a plan to slow them down because this is exactly what would have probably already happened or close to happening. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that this regulatory capture thing is real. And I think we just got an executive order because we blew that horn and we blew it loud. And there's thousands of us crazies out here who are just crazy enough to think that we might be able to change and alter the course of financial history by showing a little bit of truth in the midst of lies and deception and BS. Thank you for listening.